Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the meeting. It's a special meeting, June 23rd of the Sachem Board of Education. Could everyone please rise for the pledge and then remain standing for a moment of silence for all of our servicemen and women who are defending our freedoms. We're going to slide right down to the bottom of page 1, resolution to appoint board trustee to vacant Board of Education seat. Mrs. Laura Slattery, can I please have a motion? Motion by Bill. Second by Jim. Any questions? Just quickly and just so that we're clear where I'm voting. This is not anything to do against Laura because I consider Laura a friend. And the same reason why I didn't vote for Meredith the other night. But I just feel that this appointment, an appointment in general, no matter how it was done, would be not gathering of public input. And I think that the public votes and the public puts us in these seats, and this kind of circumvents that process. So it has nothing to do with you personally, but just so everybody knows and is clear why I'm going to be voting no. Yes, sir.
Just to remind everybody that a motion was made at the last meeting to have a special election. And you, Mr. President, were one of those who did not want to have one. Just to remind everybody.
And just to remind everybody, Mr. Kiernan, that I suggested that we send out a survey to the community so that before we spend $50,000, that could better be spent on Chromebooks or something else, that we ask them and just, see if that's the avenue that they wanted to go down.
And they said?
Well, we didn't send it because I couldn't get 5 people to get on board with that.
Did you make a motion?
Well, I said it and nobody jumped on it, so that's where we were. I can make a motion now if you'd like. Sure, I'd like to make a motion to send a survey to the community and wait 7 days to gather input. I'll make that motion. There's no second. That motion fails. Okay. We'll roll call it. Jim, there's a motion and a second? Yes. Bill? Yes. Sarah? Yes. Meredith? Yes. Laura? And I'm a no. Congratulations. Letter B is the resignation of board trustee. Can I please have a motion? Motion by Laura, seconded by Meredith. All in favor? Opposed? Motion is carried.
Okay, at this point, I just advise that Ms. Slattery file that with the district clerk because that is the legal mechanism by which the letter of resignation becomes effective. And now, having received the letter of resignation, district clerk is acknowledging that would issue the oath of office to Ms. Slattery. That is what would effectuate her ability to take office to the vacant seat to which she has been appointed by resolution by the board.
Chris, can you just explain to the community why we have to do that? It might be confusing to some people who don't know the ins and outs like we all do.
Let's swear Laura in first, have her come back and sit down, and then we'll do that. Is that okay with everybody? Okay. Please.
I state your name.
I, Laura Slattery,
Do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of New York,
and the Constitution of the State of New York,
and that I will faithfully discharge the duties
and that I will faithfully discharge the duties
of member of the Board of Education
of member of the Board of Education
according to the best of my ability.
according to the best of my ability.
So to Meredith's question, under the auspices of Education Law, Section 1709, Subdivision 17, the Board of Education is authorized and has the duty to fill the position of a vacant seat. Obviously, there are a number of ways, and I've written this in a very lengthy series of documents to all of you to explain it, but you have 3 choices, basically: to appoint and fill a vacancy, to hold a special election, or to wait until the next election in order for the electorate to, at that point, vote for candidates to, can I take my mask off?
Please.
To vote for candidates to fill the vacant position. An individual who is appointed by the board, should you choose to exercise that discretion, and that discretion is given to you under 1709, subdivision 17 of the education law, as augmented by 1804. It sounds weird, but you're a central school district. 1709 applies to union-free school districts, but the law gives central school districts the same authorities as union-free school districts, so it turns into authority that you have to make that appointment. And so you've chosen to go that route. The complication here, obviously, is that Ms. Slattery was, until she tendered her letter of resignation, a sitting board member. She can't hold both positions at the same time. That's a problem. So here, the board made the determination that it was Ms. Slattery that they wished to fill the seat that was vacated by Mr. Mancaruso. His term would have run until May of 2023. By making this appointment of Ms. Slattery, she is entitled until the next election in May of 2022 to occupy that vacated seat by the appointment of the board. And in May of 2022, during the usual electoral cycle that we have at the district special meeting, any candidate, including Ms. Slattery or anybody else, has the right to run for that position. Because you guys run as an at-large district, and there will be 4 candidates next year, as I understand it. You have 3 positions that are coming up, plus the 4th, that would be the position that's there. The 4th highest vote getter would then be entitled to occupy the seat that Ms. Slattery now occupies, that Mr. Mancaruso vacated, for the remainder of the term that Mr. Mancaruso would have been entitled to do that, which is through 2023. The reason for that is that if you had a cycle of special elections or vacancies filled by appointment or otherwise, it would take you off cycle, and you might have a time like your entire board was turning over. So there's that. By design, you have 3 seats every cycle to go. You're a 9-member board. The reason we had to go through the protocol that we went through this time, as Meredith has asked, is because, again, Laura couldn't occupy both seats at the same time, so she was appointed by the board. When a person is appointed by the board, they're not automatically assuming the seat, although they're entitled to it. They assume the seat by taking the oath with the district clerk. Prior to taking the oath and assuming the seat, obviously she tendered her resignation and the board accepted that, and thereafter taking the oath is entitled to assume that vacated seat. So trying not to make that too complicated, but just so everybody understands some of the sort of legal gymnastics, I guess you could call it, that we have to engage in to effectuate the will of the majority of the board this evening.
In the middle of page 2, number 3, personnel, teachers, consent agenda A through B. Can I please have a motion? Motion by Jim, second by Laura. All in favor? Opposed? Motion is carried. Top of page 3, personnel administration, consent agenda A and B. Can I please have a motion? Motion by Jim, second by Laura. All in favor? Opposed? Mrs. Capel-Eden?
So we're pleased to have the board approve 3 elementary K-8 tenure area principals for the upcoming school year, whose names are Catherine Delovic, Michael Sadens, and Elizabeth Tucci. We will have those folks joining us on the reorg meeting on the 7th, where we'll be able to share a little bit more about these folks and the great things they've been doing. Congratulations.
Thank you very much. And before we adjourn, Mrs. Volpe?
Just wanted to say a few words. To the Sagem community, for 3 years now, you've blessed me by sharing your families with me. I've watched with pride as your children were inducted into the Honor Society or won a championship game. I've witnessed what a few students on the robotics team can build with their own hands, their brains, and some teamwork. I've witnessed your selfless children feed full holiday dinners to hundreds of families. I've sat in awe of their talent at art shows and music concerts. I've been blessed to witness them win scholarships and build benches for their classmates. I've tasted food that showed off their culinary skills. I've celebrated our state championship marching band and paid my respects as they mourn their classmates. I've had a front row seat to watch them lift one another up in peer ed. I've been blessed to be in a room watching our special ed students spread their wings and fly. I've seen our football team humbled during hours up for downs, and I've been humbled as I've handed out their graduation diplomas, some in June, some in January, all equally amazing. As I leave the board, I want to say thank you for sharing the best part of life with me, your children, aka our future. On Monday, I heard of a young girl in a neighboring district who wanted to attend her prom, but didn't have the ability. She couldn't afford a dress. I put a simple post on Sachem Moms, and within minutes, dozens of people had her dressed, had her hair appointment set, gave her shoes, jewelry, makeup, flowers, transportation, hair, and nails. In that moment, I witnessed Sachem at its best, putting the unity back into community. Not one person asked her race, her ethnicity, her religious views, or her political views. They didn't ask if she was a member of the LGBTQ community or a straight student. But every one of them asked how they can help. Not one had a mean comment, each had an uplifting comment, and wanted the best for her. These people pulled together for a child in need. Right now, all of our children are in need. They all want to be heard. Some want masks and some don't. Some want vaccines and some don't. None of them are right or wrong. As adults, we need to understand that. We need to embrace it, and we need to show them how to understand and embrace it. So as I leave here, I ask each of you to treat one another with kindness. Advocate always, but do so with compassion. Understand that compromise is the only way to live a peaceful life. Keep the unity in our community and the human in humanity. When you're out there advocating, understand that your board trustees realize how much you may want something. It may not always be possible. There are people who may also want the opposite of what you ask. Seek first to understand and then to be understood. Our greatest gift to one another is compassion and understanding. If we each give that to one another, regardless of our views, we can and will make Sachem a better place. Laura, you've put your own health aside to help the community that you love. You're as selfless as they come. To the new trustees, you're going to love this job. It's stressful, it can be hard at times, but it is so rewarding. You're all wonderful people, forgiving of yourselves, all the time and attention that it takes to be a great board trustee. To our administration, thank you for turning this district around. We had some really tough years, but you led the charge to brighter days, all while working an enormous amount of hours. To the parents, thank you for sharing your most precious gifts with me. To the students, keep amazing us and showing us that adults, that you are the best part of life. This was an exceptional 3 years, and I appreciate you allowing me to be part of it.
Can I please have a motion and a second to adjourn? Motion by Meredith, seconded by Bill. All in favor? Good night, everyone.